So you'd love to have an old vintage guitar, like say a pre-war herringbone or something like that, but you don't have 6 figures to plop down in order to get it. So you're considering having a builder build you a custom job to those specifications and get you as close as you possibly can. It's a great idea. I've been there, done that, so learn from my successes and failures in that department. What is up, old souls? This is Reed from Everyman Vintage, and we've got something different for you today. Not a vintage guitar, but definitely inspired by vintage guitars, and I think something most of us in this community are going to be interested in. Now, it's inspired by a guitar I had built for me by a gentleman named Neil Kendrick out of Frenchburg, Kentucky. I had him build this guitar for me when I was 18, and as most decisions when you're 18 years old, not everything was thought out in the way that it probably should be. So I real quickly want to tell you that anything that I say I would have done differently about the custom building process has nothing to do with Neil Kendrick or his ability to build awesome instruments. They really are great. It has everything to do with my short-sightedness and things I asked him to do that I would change now as an adult and as an experienced and seasoned musician. So real quickly, how this guitar came to be. My family is from Eastern Kentucky originally. We would make lots of trips down there every year to visit family, and en route we would always see this sign along the side of the road that said NB Kendrick Custom Guitars. I got intrigued enough that one day I went and visited his shop when we were down there and was blown away with the quality of the guitars that he had produced there. So I immediately commissioned him to build me one. One, because I loved the guitars there, and two, because especially at 18 years old, I could not afford an old vintage guitar even at that time. All right, so I was able to get into this at a reasonable rate, and I was really stoked that I could have something that was specifically tailored to me. All right, so just a little bit about the guitar. It's a D28 style guitar. It's got an Engelmann spruce top, beautiful Indian rosewood back and sides. It's got an ebony bridge, an ebony fingerboard, mahogany neck, the whole 9 yards. What you would expect exactly from a D28 style guitar. Zigzag back strip, herringbone trim on the top. I had him put Waverly tuners on it, the whole thing. It also has Adirondack spruce bracing, which is forward shifted and scalloped in the same way you would expect an old bone to be. And long story short, the guitar is an absolute cannon. I love it. It is just a great box all around. All right, so what I did right. First things first was honored tradition and honored what was great about old herringbone guitars. The bracing pattern, the overall structure and design of the guitar. As I look back at this guitar, I watch videos of it or I see pictures of it, it definitely puts me in mind of a pre-war bone. It's just got the perfect dimensions. He did a great job fashioning everything. The fit and finish is great. Everything about that just screams the quality of like a pre-war style guitar. And so that was 1000% right. The design is there, the build quality, the quality of the materials is there. Even though I didn't have him use Brazilian rosewood, I couldn't afford that at the time. I would put this East Indian rosewood guitar up against the overwhelming majority of pre-war bones that I've played. Now, I will say that when a herringbone is right, there's nothing like that in the world, all right, and they will take down this guitar. However, those are very few and far between, and this guitar will hold its own in just about any and every context it finds itself in. All right, so with that being said, that's what I did right, and Neil did a fabulous job executing my sonic vision and also the feel of the neck and all of that kind of thing. So I had him, it's not a full 1 3/4 inch nut width like a real pre-war, pre-1939 herringbone would be. I wanted something slightly narrower, so it's kind of in between where they went at 1 11/16 and 1 3/4. But what I had him do that was different was a lot of the visual and more ornamental appointments of the guitar. So when you look at it just at a distance, it very much honors that tradition of what a bone should be. Here's what I did wrong. All right, so I'll be putting some footage of exactly what I'm talking about over the video as I'm mentioning it. But the first thing I had him do was I had him inlay my initials at the 12th fret. I was really into the very clean look of Tony Rice's herringbone with no fret markers or anything on the fretboard, and I still think that's a cool look. And I also wanted to have a bound fretboard in the same way that Tony's did. But I thought it would be cool, something to make it personal and maybe something to also give me a little bit of visual when I look down, was I had him put my initials in the 12th fret. I would not do that if I had the chance to do that again. Not only does it kill any chance that I have of ever selling the guitar to anyone else, not that I would want to, but if push came to shove, I'd have to find somebody with the exact same initials that would be really interested in having that. So probably not the best decision. Too personal, sometimes just kind of detracts from the overall experience of the guitar, and that was my bad. The other thing I did ornamentally that I would take back if I had the opportunity was I had him in abalone inlay a couple of like flat pick shapes on the wings of the bridge. At that time, I don't know, I was interested in flat picking and all of that type of thing. I still love flat picking and playing bluegrass guitar. However, priority shift, things change as you grow as a musician, and I spent less and less time being that thoughtful or caring that much about lead guitar playing, became much more interested in bluegrass guitar playing, rhythm guitar playing, and so it just also looks a little too flashy for what I like. Now, I do also want to say that these are my personal preferences, and if they're not yours, that's 1000% fine. I just want to offer some of these things as a cautionary tale based on my experience. So if I had to do it again, it would just be a straight ebony bridge. Neil did an awesome job creating this one. It is the long style bone saddle that he had put in there, and it looks beautiful. If it would just be a plain ebony bridge, I'd be a much happier camper. So when I had him bind the fretboard, I also decided that would look kind of funky, at least I thought. I don't know why I thought that, because Tony's guitar isn't this way, but I had him bind the headstock as well. The guitar in that way is just a little too dressed up for me and what I like. If you're talking about a vintage inspired instrument, that's typically not what we would see in a D28. And so making it your own is one thing, but one thing I know is right now where I am as a musician and what I love about guitars, I would have had it be a more faithful visual reproduction of what you saw in the past rather than doing things that are over the top. So anything that you consider doing to make that custom built instrument your own, I would say err on the side of subtlety. Right? It's great to have, let's say, no fret markers on the fretboard. That's a great stylistic choice. It's also not super loud, and it doesn't attract a ton of attention. Ginormous flat picks inlaid in the wings of an ebony bridge does attract attention. And also avoid things that are highly personalized. Like, I love the idea of making it your own, but when you have your initials or your name inlaid there, I don't know. For me, I would probably not do that again, just because it's just too specific and it is too personalized and too customized. So those are a couple of things I would do differently. But with that being said, I don't even know if Neil builds guitars anymore, but my Kendrick guitar is an absolute hoss. I love the way that it sounds, and to that end, I wanna play for you a little tune that I wrote just to be played for this demo on my Kendrick custom D28 style guitar. Well, there you have it, old souls. D28 style custom built guitar by Neil Kendrick out of Frenchburg, Kentucky. I hope you enjoyed the demo and the little tune that I wrote. I also hope you loved the sound of that instrument half as much as I do. And so I want you to take just a quick second, make sure you click the subscribe button, hit the bell. I would love you to like the video, but probably most importantly, I would love to hear your thoughts about the way that I had this guitar customized. Did I go too far? Is it too personal? Is it too flashy? Or are you one of those people that likes that kind of thing? What are your thoughts about customizing instruments? Leave those in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe. We've got lots of other great vintage guitar and instrument content coming your way, so be on the lookout for it. Once again, I'm Reed from Everyman Vintage. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.